Hey guys, we're going to talk about biogeochemical cycles today. We're going to be looking at the five cycles in nature that takes care of nutrient cycling, which we said was one of the key components of the principles of sustainability. We have nutrient cycling, we've got biodiversity, and we've got solar energy. So we're going to go ahead and begin with our look at the hydrologic cycle. Hydrologic cycle, again, it's the water cycle. Okay, so the water cycle, it really has no starting point. But where we're going to start is we're going to go ahead and start right here in the oceans. Since really that's where most of Earth's water exists. So the sun drives the water cycle. Okay, so the sun is the driver. It heats the water in the oceans. Some of that water is going to wind up evaporating. It's going to evaporate as vapor into the air. A relatively smaller amount of moisture is added as ice and snow sublimate directly from solid state into vapor. Rising air currents take the vapor up into the atmosphere along with water from evapotranspiration. So that's evaporation right here of surface water, or transpiration from plants. The vapor rises into the air where cooler temperatures are going to cause it to condense into clouds, and then when the clouds form, precipitation will then rain back down onto the surface. Air currents are going to move clouds all the way around the globe. Cloud particles will collide, they'll grow, they'll fall out of the sky as precipitation. Some precip falls as rain, okay? Some precip falls as snow, and it can accumulate into ice caps and glaciers. So we have ice and snow up here at high elevations. And if this picture actually had something to where we were looking at a polar landscape, we'd be able to see ice caps that are held up at the poles. It can store frozen water for thousands of years. Snowpacks in warmer climates often thaw and they melt when spring arrives. This is the case that's going on in California right now. They're actually seeing a big time decline in their snowpacks, especially in the Sierra Nevada mountains. So it's exacerbating their drought. Melted water then, as it melts, it flows over top the land. So this snowpack would wind up melting and flowing downslope into these surface water kind of lakes and ponds and pools. A lot of precipitation will fall back into the oceans or onto land. Because of gravity, water is going to flow downslope. And it flows over the ground as what's known as surface runoff, which is over here. A portion of the runoff will enter rivers in valleys with stream flow, moving water towards the oceans. You're going to have runoff and then groundwater seepage. So some of this water will wind up running off, but some of it will also seep down into aquifers, basically replenishing the water table. So again, like I just said, not all runoff was going to flow into rivers. It's going to infiltrate into the ground, stores huge amounts of fresh water for long periods of time. However, when you get into drought situations and you get into situations where climate is changing, you're going to have more pulling out of groundwater and not enough recharge. So some groundwater is going to find its way onto the landscape, and that's a spring. Lots of groundwater is going to be absorbed by plant roots, and it ends up as evapotranspiration from the leaves going back up into the atmosphere as water vapor. So basically this cycle really is never ending. And that's what you need to know about the water cycle.